Guys, Aziz and Dev. So, hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. We can hear you. This is Aziz.
Okay, Dev, can you hear me? Dev, you can unmute yourself and speak then. Dev, can you hear us? Hello.
I was in mute actually. Sorry. I can hear you.
Okay, fine. So, guys, good. Uh, Dev, what's your background?
I have around 9+ experience in IT, and I've been working in SAP BO line since 7 years.
Okay,
Most of the time I worked in Wavy, Crystal Report, and some Jimra also.
okay,
Currently working with Capgemini and as a lead consultant.
okay. Any experience with dashboards, Excel CS?
Yes, I have little bit experience that, but I worked very long back, and I have some knowledge in design studio as well, but it's very
Okay,
initial stage, I would say.
okay, fine. That's okay. Fine. Aziz, what about you?
Yeah, Rakesh, actually my background is materials management,
Okay,
and I've been working different other modules too with the integration as
okay,
well as the workflow. And I have very good knowledge in BWBI and Bob J as well as business objects
okay,
uh, with different reports, reporting tools like Lumira,
okay.
and that's all. Yeah.
Fine, guys. So I got the overall idea. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rakesh Khandelwal, and I have 10 plus years of experience in IT. And all 10 years, I have been working with Bob J only. So Bob J different tools. I was working on WebI, universe designing using IDT, UDT, and all. I used to give training on Bob J also, but last 2 years I've stopped giving training. Now last 2 years I'm uh, concentrating only on Design Studio, and I'm working on Design Studio projects and delivering trainings on Design Studio only. So this is all about me. Okay, so you guys already know the course content and all, right? I have already shared with you guys. So daily, Monday to Friday, same time we'll be connecting, and we'll be completing this training in 3 weeks. If in case it's not completed in 3 weeks and still some topics are not covered, then we'll extend the training for another 2 3 days. Okay, so this is about the background. Okay, see, now most of you are from bio background, so you know the data visualization. Basically, Dev, can you keep yourself on mute? So okay, thanks. Yeah, so data visualization, basically we create visualizations. Just basically what visualization is meant for is so that business users at a glance they can see the summary of their business and take, yeah, and take the corrective decisions, basically. So dashboard visualization or dashboard, you can relate with your car dashboard. See, by looking at your car dashboard, you can uh, you'll know that how's my car doing, how many kilometers it has run, what's the speed, how much petrol is left, and all the key KPIs which are required to run the car smoothly, you will know from your dashboard. Similarly, by looking at the dashboard, a business user should get the information, required information, how his business is doing, and he can take decisions accordingly. So that's the if you say what is the dashboard, it's one line, it's a statement, just what is the dashboard. Okay, and for SAP, when it comes to SAP has different strategies, different tools for visualization. So there is a tool called Lumira, there's a tool called Webby, there's a tool called Excelsius. Now it's a design studio, and there is a visual intelligence. There are different tools. So where to use what? So at SAP has categorized these tools into different stacks. Okay. So if you talk about a dashboard, which it's like built by IT and published for everyone, so that end users will just consume the data. So there, that kind of dashboards you can create using Design Studio, Excelsius, or you can create Webby reports for them. There is a self-service also. So users want to do their analysis on their own. So that time they can use different tools. They can use Lumira, because there they can play around with the data. They can create their own visualization. They can find the uh, some traction in the data, and then accordingly they can take the decisions. Okay. And then there is an explorer also. There used to be explorer also. So using explorer views, they can explore the data again. So there are different. So we are talking about Design Studio here. I'll just take you directly to the Design Studio. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask. I have installed Design Studio on my system. After this class, I'll be sharing the file with you. So you can also install the Design Studio client on your system, and we'll be doing most of the exercise locally. So you can perform those actions on your system also. Once we are done with the class, you can do the practice. And the version we will be working with is SAP Design Studio 1.6 SP2. SP3 is the latest one. We'll be working with SP2. So first we'll go through the tool. You guys are all guys are able to see my screen, right? If you have any issues, just let me know. Fine. You can just reply in chat. You can type in chat if you guys are able to see my screen. I think okay. Fine. So this is the home page of Design Studio. To create a Design Studio dashboard, or in Design Studio, the terminology is used as analysis application. Instead of dashboard, they call it analysis application. So how, just to create a new application, you go to application, click on new, and then give an application a name. And there is a template. You select UI5 mode or UI5M mode. I'll explain you those two modes later on. And there are some predefined templates. We'll talk about these also. So as of now, I'll take a blank template, which is standard one. Yeah. Okay. So this is Design Studio screen. Once you create the application, right? So first, let's get comfortable with the screen. Okay, what are the different panes we have here? So if you see in the middle, we have the canvas. This middle screen is called as canvas, where you will be drawing your dashboard. You can drag any component from the left hand side. You can just place on the canvas. The top of the canvas, it will have the analysis application name. And star means there is a star. Star means we have done some changes in the application which is not saved in back. Once you save it back, the star will go. Again, if you make any changes, that star will come back. So now this is your canvas where you will be placing all your components. Okay. On the left hand side, the screen is divided into two. One is components and the other one is outline. The components will have all the components available for your dashboard. So when you install Design Studio for the first time, you will just have three folders there: analytical component, basic component, container component. Remaining components are third-party components which I have installed. So you will not have, you will have just analytical component, basic component, and container component. So analytical component, if you expand, you have chart, cross tab, dimension filter. Those are the components available for analytical component. So all the chart types, like any chart, first you select a chart, then you can select the chart type. So there are two type of charts available. There's a chart and info chart. We'll be talking about these two separately. Then there's a basic component, which will, these are the additional components which you will not show any information, but you will use them for interaction of the dashboard. For example, button, if you click a button, something should happen. There's a checkbox, there is a drop down. So user interaction buttons, but they don't show information. For those kind of components, those are grouped under basic components. Then container components, you will not see those component. These are components. If you want to group some components into one component, then you use a container component. Basically, you can put multiple components in one container component. So for those components are available here. Then leave these components as of now. We'll see how to integrate SDK components and use. So just from components pane, you can just directly drag and drop your components to your dashboard. Then you have outline pane. Outline pane, on the top it will show you the application name. Then it has the data sources. There you can add your data sources, and there are different type of data sources you can add to the application. We'll talk about the data source later on. Then there is a planning object. If you have integrated planning functions in your system, then you can use those and write back some information into the database. So this part will not be covering in the training because this requires IP also, integrated planning also. Will not be covering this. Layout, whatever components you place on the canvas, those components will be listed here. So as of now, we have placed two components, chart and one dimension filter. Those components are placed here. So whatever components you are adding on the canvas, it will show here. You can add the components from here as well. Just right click, create analytical component, any component. That component will be added here on the canvas. Then there's a technical component. There are some, this is additional component. If you go and see create, right? So if you want to print the PDF, if you want to print your dashboard into PDF, you add this component. You need to add this component, and then you need to do some JavaScripting and all. We'll talk about that. There's a backend connections. If you want to use some, because right now we are in local mode, and if you want to use some backend connections, you can use backend connections using this. If you are writing a JavaScripting, we'll use this. If you want to translate your dashboard into some other language, for example, you are in Dubai, right? You are in Dubai, right? Some guys may ask you, okay, I want to the dashboard in Arabic, not in English. So that time what you can do is you can create your dashboard in English, and then using text tool, you can translate your dashboard into Arabic, so that for end user, it will appear in Arabic. So we'll talk about that in detail, how to do that. Then timer is there, just if you want to delay something, then you can use timer and all. So there are different components available. As and when it is required, you can use these components.
One question, Rakesh, can I ask?
Yeah, Dev, please.
This technical component which you mentioned, these are all default components or third-party components?
Most of them are default components, and some are custom components also, which when you install third-party components, it will be listed here.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you install the Design Studio, you will not have these many components. You will have a global script for sure, PDF for sure, text pool, timer will be there. So some components will not be there. I'm not sure which will.
Because I have seen only PDF and global script object, and other components I have not seen. Probably I missed it. I don't know.
No, text pool will be there for sure, because this is a default component. Rest I'm not sure, because I'm using SDK components from long time, so I don't remember which one is the default component here.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, Rakesh,
Yeah.
quick question here. Regarding the technical components, are you going to are you gonna show an example specifically for Arabic translation of the dashboard?
We'll see how we can do
Is
it,
it
because
possible
if
if
you
you can just
no,
you know?
if you have some environment, I can tell you how to do it,
Yeah.
because it
Okay.
requires a backend connection also. Like either
Yeah,
if
I can share a scenario with you, and then you can, it's like a short scenario, and
yeah, I'll explain you how to do it. Don't worry.
yeah.
We'll see how
Okay.
we can test this scenario.
All
Maybe
right.
not in Arabic, but some other language will do it for sure. Because that language should be installed. We should have installed that language on your system for display. We'll see. Anyways, that is covered in the training. Okay, so apart from these three panes, we have a log pane on the bottom of canvas. So there, whenever, like, if you are searching something, for example, you want to search something, and if the search, as of now it is 0 references, so all the searches will list here. So it's easy to find, okay, if this component is used, is some whatever, wherever this component is used, it will list, okay, this script it is used, or on that particular script it is used. It will show all the scripts here. So it's easy to debug and do modification. If you have any script problems, it will list here. If you have any errors, it will list here. So those things, everything will be, this is just to debug. On the right hand side, you have properties
So
pane.
this is the Rakesh, sorry, Devi again. So this is the main part where we need to see now, like when we are coming to the issues and all, like how to debug the things to the immediate window and the step through method. So those things will be covering, right, Rakesh?
See, wherever there is a script issue, right, automatically you don't have to debug, it will automatically list here. So you can, without running also, you will know that, okay, there is a problem in my script. Just double click on that and it will take you where is the problem.
Okay. As per my understanding, Rakesh,
See,
like when we are doing the things, and if you are adding some breakpoints, okay, then we can go gradually one by one, like where exactly the data issue coming and how to debug the things. I have not done this thing, just I have some idea.
see,
Yeah.
if you save, right, and if you're using this script anywhere, okay, it will I'm not calling that script once. Let me just call that script. There is some issue with my installation. Actually, I have done some changes, customized it, and normally, if because there is an error, right, if you see there is an error in this script, right, there is an error. This is the error.
Yes.
So this error, automatically
Yes.
it will list here that this script has error. You just double click it and it will take you where is the error, syntax error and all, and then you can resolve your errors.
So what my question was here, Rakesh, so there is some process also to resolve the error, like using breakpoint, immediate window. Okay, so can you please explain sometimes, after this on this side, because that will really help you, solve that tough issues.
We'll talk about that. Anyways, let's see. We'll go one by one, and wherever there is an
Yes.
issue, we'll talk about that. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to properties. See, in the properties pane, whatever component you select on canvas or from outline pane, or if you select application, it will show the properties of that component or application. If you have selected application, it will show the properties of application. If you select a particular component, It will show the properties of that particular component. You can change the properties here. For example, top margin, where you want to place the component. You can directly change it from here instead of managing from here. So don't manage from the canvas. Always place your component using the layout property where you want to put. Okay. And there's additional properties. So based on the component selection, if the data source is assigned, then only additional properties will be listed. Because for example, there is a chart, right? If you select chart and there's a column chart type, right? So its additional properties will be different. If you select a bar chart or pie chart, its additional properties might be different from the column chart. Some properties, not all the properties, but some properties may be changed. As for example, like pie has this donut option, but column chart will not have that option. So we don't have that option. These are, so some properties will be different. Most of the properties will be same. So these additional properties, basically it's for formatting, how the component should look like. You should have some padding or not, what should be the color and all, what should be the font size and all. So those formatting related properties are part of additional properties, and main properties are in this. So till now, for just for navigation, just for interface, are you guys okay with the interface or any questions related to interface?
It's okay.
Okay, fine, great. Okay, so during the training, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating a dashboard, and the dashboard is not it's HR dashboard. We'll be creating a dashboard for HR domain. So you can create the dashboard for any customer. That's a real-time dashboard we have created for one of our customer, and you can create for any customer. It's useful for all the customers. They want to do the HR analysis, their human resource analysis. So that dashboard we'll be creating that dashboard locally using CSV file. Okay, so let's now let's go back to the data sources. See the data sources, you have option, you can add a CSV data source. So in our training, we'll be using CSV data sources. In real-time scenarios, when you talk about deployment and so that you can deploy your dashboard on platform and users can see it, you will be adding a data source, and whatever data sources are available here for you, you can use those data sources. Okay, for if you are connected in local mode, okay, there are 4 type of modes. One is local mode. So when you install your Design Studio for the first time, when you are running, it will run in local mode. So when you run in local mode, either you can use CSV data source, or all the connections, SAP connections, which you have in your logon, SAP logon, those connections will be listed here when you add data source, right? Those connections will be listed here. Local SAP connections. There's another mode. That mode you can go to preferences, tools, preferences, and change the mode. So instead of local mode, we have business objects mode, HANA mode, or NetWeaver mode. So BI platform mode, that means you have deployed your server part. There is a 2 part for Design Studio. One is client, which we have installed here on our system, where developer will be working, and there is another component called server component or server add-on that you need to deploy on either on BI platform or on NetWeaver or on HANA. Design Studio supports 3 platforms. So if you have deployed your server component on BI platform, then you can connect to business objects BI platform. When we change it, it will ask us to restart our system. When we restart the Design Studio, not system, Design Studio, when we restart our client, it will ask for the credentials to connect to BI platform. Once we connect and we check the data source, Sorry guys, any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, quick question, Rakesh. Yeah, deploying the BI platform means that in CMC, I have to do an installation of Design Studio, right? And then probably and then connect it there with the Design Studio, and then launch while we are launching it here, we have to sort of set the settings on BI Launchpad, and then log in with the particular platform, right?
Yeah. Okay. So first, what you need to do
Okay.
is you will have the add-on server software. You just deploy it the way you install any software. Just go to the log on into the server. Just right click on the tool and say install next. Click next, everything next, and it will deploy it. Once it is deployed, you need to do some settings as a BO admin in the CMC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Once you
Exactly.
change,
That's what I was asking.
yeah,
Yeah.
you change those settings, and after that you will have this window, right? So there you can give user ID, password, and this web service URL and its authentication, whether it's enterprise authentication, whatever and authentications you are using for BO, those authentications you can give it here. We'll connect and see. Let me just see if I have a server up and running. Anyways, we'll connect to BI platform at least and see how we can consume the other data sources. It's taking some time. Right now I'm not able to connect it. I'll check. Anyways, in next sessions I'll be connecting to BI platform and I'll explain how to connect to BI platform and work there. As of now, let's go to local mode only. So if you skip, it will take you to the local mode. So on BI, if you connect to BI platform, there you can connect to three kind of data sources. Either you can connect to BW cubes, BW or HANA cubes or query, HANA cube or BW queries or BW info providers using OLAP connections. So whatever OLAP connections you create in CMC, is it, are you getting how to, how to create OLAP connections in CMC, right? I think Kishan, for you it's little new. I'll tell you how to create OLAP connections in CMC separately. I think other guys are okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Krishan, I'll tell you in separately how. I'll take you one session for BO server side so that you will understand it better. But there you can go and create your connections, OLAP connections. So whatever OLAP connections you create, those connections will be available for your data connections here. Add data source, there it will be available. Once you click on add data source. Okay, Aziz, I'll take you OLAP connection for you also. I'll take the session separate. It will not take more than 15 minutes, but I'll take, you can create those connections in CMC. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so those connections, you can create OLAP connections using CMC. We'll talk about that anyways. So once you click on browse, right, connections, so all the universes, whatever universe you create using IDT, not UDT, IDT, whatever universes you create using IDT, those universes will be listed here. Apart from the universes, you will have these logon SAP, whatever connections you have, and BW and HANA connections, and using those connections you can you can connect to the queries or cubes or info providers and use them as a data source. So you can connect to different databases also at a time and create your dashboard. In case of BI platform, if you are in NetWeaver platform mode, NetWeaver mode, If you have deployed your server add-on on NetViewer side, then you can only connect to BW connections. You can only connect to BW queries or info providers. You can't connect to HANA and you can't connect to universes if you are in NetViewer mode. Again, if you are in HANA mode, then you can connect to only HANA views, not to any other data source. From SAP side, going forward, they don't provide major support for these two platforms. Their main objective is to move everyone on BI platform. They want to move everyone on BI platform, and this platform will have more features. As of now, also they have more features. For example, if you have multiple data sources and you want to execute them in parallel, that is supported only in BI platform mode. That is not supported in NetViewer mode. So there are some issues related to performance in NetViewer and HANA mode, but in BI platform it is addressed through some by grouping of data sources and all, so that you can run them in sequence instead of parallel. So this is the advanced mode, and these two modes are, as of now it is supported, but going forward the plan is to discontinue maybe in another year or so. So these are the deployment modes available. Okay, to execute, once you save your dashboard, you have two options to execute. Okay, right now we are connected to locally only, so we have an option only, execute locally only. If you are connected to a platform mode, then we'll have two options to execute. One is execute locally and another option is to execute on platform. Okay, guys, any questions related to platform deployment?
Rakesh, many times I've seen like when I'm executing the report locally, it runs fine. But
Okay.
when I'm executing the reports on platform, it shows some error.
Okay.
I don't know the actual reason because I'm very new to these things. Can you please say something on this, why exactly it comes?
Okay. See, there can be multiple issues. Okay, multiple reasons for that issue. One is if that issue is related to CSS. So you have the CSS because when you are running the locally, right? The CSS part is CSS is not applied basically. If you are using a custom CSS file which is deployed on platform, then while running locally, it will not talk to the CSS file. Or if you are using, or if any restriction is there on the server side, because locally when you are running, right, you are bringing the data here and doing all the calculations here only. Do you have any like any specific error you got? Like according to error, I can tell you. Like
I will see tomorrow and let you know that.
okay,
I will see that issue and let you know.
Okay. Yeah, the error script problem we were talking right earlier. For example, see this is the error. There is some issue here. You can just double click and see what is the error. So it says okay, this particular script is missing. So you don't have to debug anything. You just directly go to script problems. It will list you all the problems. For me, it's taking little time because there is some customization done with the tool. Yeah. Another thing is properties of the application. If you select application, there is a properties for the application. So the important things are here is like you can change the theme of the application, how the component should look like and all. Mostly people use Blue Crystal. This is the default theme also. And other things as and when you will be using, you'll know. Okay. So if you are creating any global variables, so those global variables you will be creating here, will be creating anyways, global variables. So those global, if you create a global variable, then you can use those global variable across multiple scripts. And if you don't want to use global variable, you can use a local variable, which you can use inside the script only. So wherever you are creating a script, that time you can use.
Can you please tell, Rakesh, sorry, can you please tell what are the different type of variable first, and
Okay.
what are the difference on this?
Okay, there are two type of variables basically. See, if you're writing any script and you want a variable, you can define variable using var, and you can give, okay, if you want to assign a value, you can assign, else if you don't want to assign a value, you can leave. So if you have, so right now we have a variable called v1. This is a local variable because we have created this variable inside a script. This is a script editor. We have created a variable inside a script. So if we want to use this variable outside this script or in some other script, we can't use because it's a local variable. If we go and write this, you want to use the same variable here, v1 equal to something, we say 10, it will give error that this is not defined. We don't know what is this v1. Okay, but if we define a variable globally, global variable, if we go to global variable and define a variable here, say v2, and let's say integer type, and then if we go, now we can use this variable across application. Because it's a global variable. So there are two type of variable. One is a local variable which you create and consume within a script. Another is a global variable which you create in the global variable window in at application level, which you assign here in this window, and you can use across application, whole application. Okay.
So this we define at the project level, right? Because I see here you have clicked demo and then you went to global script.
Yeah.
And then you wrote global variables. Right?
Correct. At application level, you will be defining global variables, which you can use wherever you want in your dashboard.
And what about private variables? You said
the private variable is nothing but a local variable. So wherever because you will be writing script, you can write script on each component, right? Any component you select, you will have an option to write script.
But I sorry, I missed the thing, Rakesh. Sorry. Please go back to the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me.
Yeah. Click the application and then go to startup.
Okay.
Yeah. So this you are saying as a private variable, right?
Yeah, because
on
you
startup.
See, this variable life is just during startup only. After startup, this variable is no more.
Okay, so what exactly this startup and what these events are doing, that those you will be telling, right?
Yeah. You'll be covering everything. See, okay, when we execute an application, how that application is executing. Okay, there is some steps. In those steps, application will execute. When you execute any application, right? When you click on execute, there are some steps which are performed. Okay, execution of application. Whatever data sources you have here, whatever, if you have 10 data sources or 15 data sources, okay, those data sources will be executed first. Okay, after that, whatever you write on startup, sorry, not startup, if you have, okay, once those data sources are executed, right, that time it will check if those data sources has any variables. Because if you have BW queries, right, and if you have BW queries, you can give variables. So those variables value, you can pass it from variable initialization if you want to pass some variable. So this has an internal step which will execute variable initialization. So sequence is variable initialization, initially data source execution will start, but it won't finish. In between, it will check for variable initialization. If variables are initialized, it will give those variables back to the data sources, and then data source will execute. Once the data sources are executed, then application initialization will happen. So whatever components you have placed on the canvas, those components will be built, because whatever components you save, right, it will save in some programming format, right? So using it will retrieve those programming and code, and it will generate the components for you. So application initialization. After that, whatever you write on startup, whatever code you write on startup, those will execute. Once startup is done, then there is a component called background processing. If you want to do something in background when user is observing the dashboard, at that time, if you want to do something, you can do in background processing. And once the background processing is completed, then user interaction.
Rakesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, what would be a good example for background processing, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
For example, is it data rendering, or is it something to do with only visualization, you know,
No.
just like...
See, for example, in your application, you have 15 data sources, and that application has multiple tabs. Okay, so first tab has information related to 3 data sources only, or 4 data sources only. So if you are in the starting only, if you are loading all the 15 data sources, it's taking a lot of time, right? But that information is not consumed immediately by the end user, right? Because those information you are displaying in second, third, and fourth tab.
Okay.
So instead of loading all 15 data sources in the starting, what you can do is you can say, okay, I just want to load only 5 data sources in the startup when application is starting. The remaining data sources I can load in background processing. So when user is viewing the application or analyzing something, that time in the background itself, you're loading the data source. So it is improving the performance. Got
All
it?
right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean the load is being reduced here. Okay. All right.
Correct. Yeah, that is one use of background processing. You can come up with your own scenario and use background processing accordingly.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Once background processing is done, then user can interact with the dashboard, and whatever interaction user do, accordingly dashboard will render the data, whatever logic you have written. Now there are two things. Sorry.
Saket, I have some confusion in the initial and startup. You said na initial and startup. So you said at the initial level, initialization level, I didn't get that point properly. Startup I understood.
Okay.
Application initialization.
See, when you execute the application, right, or user is running the dashboard from either from BI Launchpad or portal, anywhere, what will happen is in background, it will, whatever data sources you are adding right here, those data source, not all, but data source, as of now, let's take that all the data sources will execute. So whatever data source we add here, those will execute. So it will start execution of those data sources. It will bring the data from the database. And then after that, application initialization will happen. Application initialization means that whatever components you placed on the canvas, right, those components will be generated. And after the components are generated, whatever script you write on, there is a startup script. In the properties, there is a startup script. So whatever you write on startup, those commands will execute. You can write multiple commands. So whatever commands you write, those commands will execute. Once those are executed, after that it will go to background processing. Again, it's a script editor only, but those commands you want to execute once your dashboard is ready to view, so that end user can view the information, he can analyze the information. Meanwhile, you are doing something in background. So those things which are not important in first screen, you can put it here. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so today's session was just to about I wanted to give you all a little idea about Design Studio, how to use Design Studio and all. Anyways, we'll be creating a full-fledged application. We'll be creating from tomorrow onwards, we'll be creating an application itself, real-time dashboard. And during the creation itself, we'll be covering the topic, all the topics. So at the end of the training, you will have one complete dashboard with you. And what I'll do now is I'll share the dashboard file, this client installation with you. You guys install on your system. If you face any issue during installation, just let me know. Don't wait for tomorrow's class. Just let me know in advance so that we can install it before our class, and you can get comfortable with the screen, all the options. If you want to any notes, I'll be providing this recording of the class, so you can refer to the recording again if you want. Apart from the recording, if you want any other assistance, you guys have my WhatsApp number. You can just WhatsApp me. I'll reply to that.
So, Rakesh, like working on this, like you need to know more on like, how to bring the things nicely, how to adjust the component properly, some visualization tricks and all.
See,
Okay, so that you please.
Yeah, those will be covered. Everything will be covered. You'll be creating this dashboard, which I am executing. So this is the dashboard.
Rakesh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What version is it? Is it 1.16.05?
1.6. This is 1.6.
Yeah, like, okay, and is it SP4 or what is it?
It's SP2.
SP2, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
If you have already have the client, no worries. If you have SP3 or SP1 or SP0, it doesn't matter. This will work fine.
Okay.
Don't have to uninstall and install SP2.
All right, okay.
So this is the dashboard we'll be creating.
Okay, I can do it.
Yeah, you can even have
lower version to higher version it works.
Yeah.
Higher version to lower version it works.
Yeah. So this is the dashboard you'll be creating, and you can select any chart and dashboard will filter data accordingly. And then you can just want to see all the departments or all the roles. Accordingly, it will filter that.
What data source are you using for this?
For this, we are using it's a CSV file.
Okay.
But you can put the data into BW or any other data source, and then you can connect there, and you can create your own dashboard. The same dashboard, no issues.
Okay, and a quick question regarding your. Can you just like pull in your like a text file that you were making notes on?
This one?
Yeah, from here it says like you were talking about BW HANA cubes. Is it BW on HANA? Are you referring to?
No, it's BW queries. I might not write everything, but I'll speak everything. So don't refer to this notepad.
Yeah. I was just like thinking of BW on HANA queries that you were.
Either BW queries or BW info providers.
Okay.
And HANA cubes.
No, BW and HANA when you're saying Musab, it means like your HANA will be like your database, and BW will be generating backstreet on top of that. And on top of backstreet will be small app connection to for our purpose.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Yeah.
So I might not write everything, but yeah, if you have any doubt, just let me know. I'll correct things.
Okay.
So this don't refer to this completely to this notepad only. I'll not be sharing this because this is not correct. I'm not writing everything.
Please share it. If there is anything, we'll correct it. No problem.
Oh, okay, fine. So yeah, so this is the dashboard you'll be creating. From tomorrow onwards, we'll be starting to create this dashboard. You can change the time period and all. And
Hello, Rakesh. Hello.
yeah. Tell me.
Oh, Rakesh, I was wondering that can we take any example from scratch and to build the scenarios? Because this I come from the BI background and I never dealt in the dashboard side actually. Just long back, I just done a little bit of Excel, but not really, just that extensively. So I was wondering, just for me, because I don't come from much from the BU side.
Okay.
For me, all the screens looks, just as a new guy, just all the screens looks funny. So I was wondering that if we can take an example, for me it will be easy to understand the basics, and or we can take some BW scenario, or just some cube scenario, and then how data flows and how we create the dashboard. That will be, this big help for me in the real time. Would it be possible for you?
See, the thing is the BW part and all, I don't have the system ready with me. So that's why this time I'm taking training on local mode.
Okay.
But from Design Studio point of view, we'll be starting from the blank screen.
Okay, I see.
It's a blank screen.
So do we need to do any connections? Sorry to interrupt you. Do we need to do any connections when we are fetching the data from this will be from the BW to I'm not sure how all this integration works. So are we going to just do locally any kind of this connection? How connection does it taken care by basis guy, or does it do we need any input from the from our side, or do they need any input from our side, or just how things work actually?
Okay, so see, in the real time in the project, right? So you will have somebody who will take care of the if for example your backend is BW, right? So you will have somebody who will take care of BW. They'll be creating the queries for you, right? So
okay.
You just need the queries. That's it. Once you have the queries, you can just add those queries as a data source here. In the connections, you just select the BW connection. For example, just select the BW connection. As of now, I can't select. Just give the user credentials and then give your query name, whatever query name you have. BW
okay.
query, and then click OK.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. No, I'm not talking about this this part of this is a design studio part. I'm just wondering that integration between the business design studio with the BI or HANA means there must be some connection part. This has to be RFC, or this normally that's what we do in the other things. Just when we make the connection, we give some credentials. So does it taken care by the basis guy, or does it do we need any input? Since just we are doing the business design studio and I'm a BI consultant, so do they need any input from technical point of view? I'm asking, do technical team will need any input from me, or just they will be creating the connection themselves? How does it work?
No, you will be creating the connections on your own. What you need from basis is just the user ID and password to connect to. If you have deployed your add-on part on NetViewer, right, then you need a credentials to connect to the NetViewer system, right? So those connections, those credential details you'll be getting from basis team. Apart from that, nothing is required from basis team. You just need the queries from your BW, whoever is doing the BW, whoever is taking care of BW part. You just take the queries and use those queries. You don't need any special permission at all. Nothing is required.
Okay. And one more thing is that when we come to the dashboard, when we design the dashboards, like let's assume that you are referring HR data. So when we do the this dashboard designing for HR, are they these dashboards are visible for everyone, or we can do some kind of authorization?
Absolutely. See, absolutely, you will be, these dashboards are meant for specific people only. So HR dashboard can be viewed by HR manager or some specific persons only, not for, it's not for everyone. So that access at in different platforms, like if you have deployed your dashboard on BO server or BI, that is BI platform, right, BobJ, then it will be taken care by BO admin person, that who should have access and who should not have access. If it is deployed on NetViewer, then it will be taken care by basis team.
Okay.
right? Who should have
Okay.
access and who should not have access.
Okay. All right. And what about the, just when we create the dashboards, and same time, just one of the team member might be working on, this another dashboards and all these things. So do we have kind of log management kind of things concept in the this dashboard
Okay.
technology?
So at a time, you will be only one person can work on the one dashboard, because once you save the dashboard in repository, and if you have opened the dashboard in client, in your client, if anybody else is trying to open, it will open in read-only mode. He can't make any changes. If he is making any changes, he need to save with different name. He can't save with the same name if you have opened the dashboard. So at a time, only one person can work on one dashboard.
I see. And one more thing is that, like, just when you refer the query, when we work in the query, so let's assume that there are the few dashboards required from the same query. So can we access that query can those query be accessed by number of people, or just it can be accessed only at a one time?
No. You can access from multiple dashboards. But the one thing is, if you have added one query, test query also in your dashboard, and you forgot to delete that query, you are not using that query in your dashboard, maybe not in any chart and all, but you have added, then the BW guy can't delete that query from the BW system, because it is that reference is here.
What do you mean?
See, if you have added one BW query here, just for testing purpose, some BW query you have added, and you are not using that query anywhere in your dashboard, just added.
Okay.
And then the BW person who has created the query, he can't delete, but that query is used.
Okay.
He will not be able to delete
So
that query.
what are you saying? Let's assume that I have created one query on one of the info cube, like finance cube is there. I have created the F1 query for test purpose in the Design Studio.
Yeah.
So that will be saved where exactly that query should be created on the info queue, which should be created on the BAX environment, on the BW environment, and whatever mechanism we are using it. Yeah. So what is the question of the creating the query in the Design Studio? You're saying that we can create the query in Design Studio?
Not creating. You are adding that query here as a data source.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
If you are adding,
once we add it, we can't delete that query.
Yeah, nobody can delete. You need to first remove from here, then only you can delete.
I see.
Okay. Yeah. You can use the same query multiple times for different purpose. Like I am using the same data source multiple time, but for multiple purpose. You can change its initial view. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Anyways, you can change the query output. Okay, instead of nationality, I want to display gender.
Yeah, okay. So it's a very major thing, and I think it's a parallel processing, right? It enhance the performance, correct?
Right now, it's not parallel processing because it's in local mode. If you have deployed this
right now, the concept which you said, same DAX query can be used different way. Okay.
It's a different data source basically.
Yeah, that concept we say parallel processing, right?
No, parallel processing is different. I'll talk about that also. Anyways, later on we'll talk about that. When we talk about performance, we'll talk about parallel processing also. Today's class was just to give the overview what we are going to do for the next 14 classes basically, and just what is the Design Studio client, and you should get little bit knowledge of about the client. Okay, where is the component, what is the canvas, what is my screen, what is the script problems, what are my properties, where I need to add data source and all. Just process wise, if you know, that is good enough for today.
I see. And coming back to the same question, are we going to create, this means as you have explained that we are going to create something. So we are going step by step. In means hopefully, we are not jumping. I know that if you guys are from the business object side, object side, and they have experience as well in this dashboard designing. So are we going to just coming to my this point and since I don't know much, so are we going step by step and seeing the scenario, if I'm not wrong?
See, we'll be creating this dashboard from scratch. Each line of the dashboard, we'll be writing each line of the code. We'll not say, okay, similarly you can do that also. No, we are not going to do that. We are going to write each and everything. So by looking at the video, somebody can recreate the dashboard again.
I see. Okay. No, I thought that we are taking the old example of the dashboard and we are going to just discuss on that one.
No. We'll be creating each and every line we'll be discussing.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Rakesh, are you gonna be using BW queries from any IDES environment or BW?
I'll be telling you how to consume queries and all. We'll be connecting to one server and doing that, but will not use those queries in the data in this dashboard scenario. That's a separate class I'll be taking,
Okay.
where I'll
Okay,
be
that's
showing
a separate.
separate class where I'll show you how to
Yeah.
connect to BW queries and how to create dashboard out of it. Once you create a connection, right, it doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
Once this is done, right, add data source is done. After that, process is same. It doesn't matter the data is coming from the BW query or from the universe or its local data. It will behave in the same way. So that's why I'm using the local data source, local CSV files. If you are using the BW queries also, the coding, the way we are coding, it is same. There is no change. With BW queries, you will have some advantage related to performance and all. Apart from that, nothing else.
Exactly. Okay.
So we'll be we'll be looking into how we'll be seeing. Okay, we'll test those scenarios also, how to create OLAP connection and all, and how to consume BW queries and all. But for Krishan, yeah, for you, I'll be taking one class just for BobJ, just to understand what is the BobJ, and because we'll be talking about BobJ terms, right? So for Aziz and Krishan, we'll talk about that.
All right.
Maybe today
Sure.
only, if you guys are available today, we'll talk about that after half an hour or 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, anything else?
Yeah, hi Rakesh.
Yeah.
The screen is very, the alphabets you cannot see in your screen.
Is it?
Is that on my side there is a problem, that the screen is,
Guys, you're not able to see like, is this problem for everyone or?
You can see the screen.
You can see, huh?
Yeah.
I can see the screen. I can see the screen, but the alphabets are very small. You know, when you explore the Explorer over here in the left side, the vanilla,
Okay.
and I can see only very small, like 8 in the size of the
Yeah, I
alphabet.
understand what he's saying. I think you have to increase the font, this probably,
Yeah,
Rakesh, from your laptop.
that
Yeah.
because
Because this is right. I'm seeing also another small fonts because the pen is quite big. Yeah. This screen is having the three divided in three parts. So that's the reason.
Yeah, because it's divided into
Is
multiple parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rakesh, is there a difference between the is there the visuals if I'm using a browser based environment of GoToMeeting or if I'm using the actual the application of GoToMeeting? Is there a quality difference there?
No, from participant point of view, there is no difference. But still, if you can install the designs to so this GoToMeeting client, it will be good. Yeah, for organization
Okay.
and presenting, yeah, you need. I think you need to have
Okay.
the client installed on your system. I'll suggest you install because the connectivity will be far better if you
All
can
right.
install.
And another question regarding the OLAP connection. OLAP connection, you mean to say when you're creating a connection in CMC,
Correct. Correct.
or is it there's another connection that what we use IDT for, that when we create a universe based on BW,
No, not that.
BW and yeah.
I'm talking about
Okay.
you can create a connection in CMC. OLAP connection is there, right? You can create OLAP connections there in CMC for BW or HANA.
Okay. Are you gonna show us an example of HANA within CMC, like connecting, creating a HANA connection in CMC?
I don't have the system with me,
Okay.
so HANA system because it may not have the data and also. Okay. So here you have in CMC, you have an option OLAP connections,
Yeah.
right? Here you can create your connections. Here you can create. So someone is using this system, so that's why.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you anyways separately. If you don't know how to create connection in CMC, because that is not required.
Like I just wanted to see if you're using HANA connections and if you're creating them in in CMC OLAP. So I was just like I just wanted to get an overview on that.
I'll tell you how to create anyways, but I don't have a HANA system which has data and all. HANA system is there, but it doesn't have any data and all. So I'll tell you how to create a connection in OLAP connection in CMC for HANA or BW.
Is there any like difference between the two of
No,
them? Like
the method is same. Same method.
okay.
Just go to allow connection and create a new connection. There you select whether you want a BW connection or a HANA connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it need like more credential or is it just
Yeah,
like exactly the same? Like
just credentials you need to
like
pass, right? HANA
setting
credentials
any
will be
specific
different.
setting?
No, HANA credentials will be different than the BW credentials, right? Little bit difference is there.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, yeah.
So those things you need to put.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys, I'll be sharing this recording, today's recording also with you guys, so you can just go through it again. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So tomorrow, like 5-10 minutes, we can talk about. If you have any questions, we can talk about those. Else, we'll start creating the dashboard. I'll be sharing the client with you, client installable, so you can install and then start doing something about it. Okay, fine, guys.
Rakesh, last question
Yeah.
before you go for today.
Yeah.
Like I have BI client in my system.
Yeah.
BI client, when I say like GUI, the client side, and when you say that you will be sharing local, I can install it. I was wondering that can I, for my client, can I make the POC POC based on the locally? You know, I
Yeah.
can do the connection and.
Yeah, this is the POC only, which this real-time dashboard. It's nothing but a POC. You can present it to your customer.
Okay, so I can, that's what I was asking on this connection and all this. So will you be able to show me that how I can make how I can do the connection for my BW query and I can present to the client with this POC, or I can play with the BW data.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you.
See, I'll tell you. We will discuss that. Okay. Fine, then I'm stopping that meeting. I'll stop the meeting. Okay, Dev. Fine, guys. If you have any questions, you just let me know on WhatsApp.